What is going on, guys? Johnny here.
Frizzy.
Frizz, we have a lot to talk about.
Sure.
The numbers are in. We're going to review cross-listing.
Yes.
Is it worth it? Mm-hmm. What does it look like? What did it look like for us? What are some things that came out of it? And we'll see if cross-listing is right for everybody else too. Should we get to it?
Sure.
Let's go. So this video is probably going to sound a little bit like an ad.
It's not.
It is not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But you can if you want to. So Frizz, we started cross-listing. We've always put things, eBay 1,
Yeah.
Poshmark 2, but pretty much anything on eBay went on Poshmark.
Yeah. I would do it manually. I would list on eBay and then go straight to Poshmark and list that item on Poshmark.
Yeah. And then we quickly gave up on Mercari very early in our journey. And then Depop we cherry picked, and it was mostly just vintage stuff that I found.
But you probably listed maybe 5 a month.
Yeah,
If
maybe a little more, but
I don't know.
Yeah, not a lot. So we wanted, but that wasn't the reason that we started cross-listing for ease of that. We were double selling things.
Yes, that is true. I forgot that is the reason why we started. Yes, we were double selling things.
And that is why we used Vendu, because if you look back to old videos where it said that we were in eBay jail.
Yeah, that's why.
That was why. We were double selling. Things would sell on eBay, and then we would forget to take it off Poshmark or vice versa.
Yeah.
And we were double selling all the time. We were in whatever the worst eBay.
Oh yeah, bottom tier.
Low
level, bottom feeders.
Losers.
Le who? The her.
So we needed something to save us from us. But it's hard, like when you're at dinner or eating dinner and something sells, like you don't stop what you're doing and like, oh, I've got to take this down.
No. And then by the time you're done with what you're doing, you forget.
Yeah, you just go on with life.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason we actually chose Vendu, was we wanted that auto sales detection. And happy to say it's helped.
Yeah, it is.
It has definitely. We are top rated eBay sellers, which we probably would not be without it.
Yes.
And it's been going well. And we started in mid-January. So what we want to do is kind of dive into the numbers a little bit of really how things have been going February to May, because we started half January. So January numbers are kind of funky. But we're going to talk eBay. We're going to talk Posh.
Depop,
Mercari, maybe Whatnot comes into this conversation a little bit.
Possibly.
But let's. The first thing we're going to talk about is eBay, because when we had first mentioned that we were using a cross-listing platform and how it was working, somebody actually asked, like, what about your eBay sales? What about your Posh sales? Basically, are you just moving money around?
Yeah.
And so
like if you're like selling the same amount on eBay or less than eBay, but some.
Yeah, I mean, if your monthly sales are say $2,000 and you cross list and it's still $2,000, but things are going to other platforms,
then it doesn't make sense.
It's moving around.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that first. eBay. So just to give you an idea, in 2023. We're going into the personals here a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
If you are an accountant, tax advisor, you work for the IRS, just shut the video down now. No, but so our monthly gross sales on eBay were about $6,159 a month. So that was our average gross sales. Now you take out fees and cost of goods and all that kind of stuff, but gross sales, $6,159 in 2023.
Per month.
February to May of this year, when cross-listing was really up and running, it's gone up.
Yeah, yay!
But some of that's just we're getting better, right? We're buying better things.
I've been listing more, for sure.
You have definitely been listing a lot more, and more consistently, too. Proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah. But our monthly average sales from February to May of this year, $6,672.
Okay.
So we're up like $500 a month. So that's good. So that way, as long as Posh is similar, and we're selling on Mercari or Depop, we're trending in the right direction.
We are.
All right, so eBay has gone up, which is good. So no damage done on the eBay front. Poshmark, whole other world.
Yeah.
But
well,
that's a whole different story.
Right.
There's a lot of layers to
Yeah,
Poshmark.
there's a lot of... Yeah.
So just to go through the basics, in 2023, our average... This is gross. Again, Poshmark takes out 20% and all. We know all that. But Poshmark monthly sales in 2023 averaged $1,883 a month. So normally what we do.
Yeah.
Then when we started cross-listing in February was rough. But we'll get into pros and cons. Our sales in February were pretty low, but we're going to talk about one of the cons of cross-listing and why I think our February Poshmark sales were
okay,
low.
yeah, I know why.
Oh, you do?
Well, yeah, because we had to delete our whole Poshmark page, and we had to, because of cross-listing, we had to take everything off of Poshmark and then re-enter it all back onto Poshmark with Vendu, so Vendu could read.
Yeah.
Like,
so they were all linked together,
yeah.
or you wouldn't have had the auto detection.
If you get through that, it's worth it.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part.
And we'll get into this in pros and cons, but like once you get through that, like it's almost like they own you a little bit because it's so much work that like you can't give up now. So February was rough, a little over $1,300, which again with an average of $1,800 previously, that was a concern because we're like, okay, now we're losing money cross-listing. But quickly bounced back. March and April, both a little over $2,100. So when all is said and done for those 3 months, we're back at almost $1,900. All is right with the world. So Poshmark, okay. But then we discovered something
Dun, dun, dun.
that has changed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, this is next level.
This is still not sponsored either.
Not sponsored, but it's working.
Yeah.
And that's Prime Lister.
Prime Lister, yeah. So if you guys don't know, on Poshmark, like you have to play the Poshmark game. Like you have to share your items, you have to share other people's items, you have to send out offers, you have to like things, you have to not really comment, but just all the different things that Poshmark wants you to do.
Yeah.
But you don't have time for that. Like nobody has time
You need to
for
automate
that.
it.
Yeah.
You need to automate with how much, and then you're getting likes constantly. Poshmark's built very social media-y.
Yeah.
But you're getting likes constantly, so by using something like Prime Lister, or we used to use Flip when it was free, you can set it up so offers get sent to buyers right away, and that has helped our store tremendously.
I will say we were using Prime because it was free, but it didn't change our numbers really. Like it never really did much using Prime.
Prime or Flip?
Or Flip. Compared to Prime Lister.
Yeah.
It really did not do anything.
Yeah.
So sorry, Flip.
But that's why we broke up.
Yeah.
No. So we started off with a 14-day free trial on Prime Lister, which our code will be down below.
Yeah.
And things changed mighty rapidly.
Our first month, we doubled the sales in our first month.
So we told you average sales almost $1,900. In May, we did almost $4,000, $3,900. Our best month ever on Poshmark, we sold 75 items. We sold 113
That's awesome.
items on Poshmark. And some of it's Prime Lister, but some of it's what you said before.
I've been posting more consistently, yeah. But actually, sometimes with the Vendu, like I post on eBay every day. Like every day I at least post one thing. But I typically
not on Poshmark.
tend to post like 10 to 20 items a day on eBay. But sometimes with the cross listing, like I make sure it's up on eBay, but I forget to go on Vendu and cross list. So I'll wait a couple days and then cross list. And it's still like we still get sales.
You can look on Poshmark and it tells you like when you've posted like your inventory, and ours is like
so it'll be like 30 items one day, 0 items the next day.
But it is going very, very well. 113 sales last month. This month still moving along very, very well. But just to kind of give you an idea. Oh.
And one more thing, on since we started using Prime Lister, we haven't had a no sale day on Poshmark.
You better find some wood. You better find some wood. We are. What's today? Today is the 9th is when we're filming. Mm-hmm. And how many days we're in May? So you have to use the muckle. 31.
31.
We're 40 for 40.
Oof. It's pretty good.
That's a pretty darn good run. So we've had a sale every day, knock on wood, for the last 40 days. Our best month ever on Poshmark was about $2,700, and with last month being $3,900. Amazing.
Yeah. That's really good.
And so you can check it out, see if it's right for you. The cool thing about the 14 days, you don't have to put credit cards or anything in. And then if you decide to continue. If you don't,
Then don't.
But it works for us, and it might just work for you.
And you don't, like, Flip, you had to have your computer up and on and, like, running. But, like, with Prime Lister, you don't have to have it on it's not on your computer at all. It's an app, and it just runs in the background. So you never even have to open it or... Like, the first initial setup, you open it, but then after that, you don't do anything. Very
user-friendly. All right, so eBay, doing well since we've been cross-listing. Poshmark, stagnant until Prime Lister came along, but still doing well. So as long as we're selling things on Mercari and Depop, the cross-listing might be where it's at.
Yeah.
But let's take a look. Frizz, we're breaking in. We've gone through eBay, we've gone through Poshmark. If you guys want to know how Mercari and Depop went, you got to subscribe.
So subscribe.
You have to. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't.
Do all the things.
Say hi to Frizz.
Hi.
Let us know if you cross list or if this video was helpful for you. And let's get to the good stuff. Let's get into the cross listing stuff. And Mercari, we'll start off with, was a platform that we gave up on very quickly.
It's still my least favorite platform, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And they're obviously all their changes and it's whatever. But just to kind of give you an idea, though, because we are having sales on Mercari. It's not life-altering or anything like that.
Every little bit helps, though.
Yes. And just to give you an idea, we had... Our only sales ever on Mercari were in April of 2022. Okay. So our second month, third month of reselling ever, we had 2 sales for $35, and we never sold anything ever again. Until
Vendu.
Until we started cross listing, and it's been fine.
Yeah, it's good.
So February through May of this year, we've done almost $2,100 in sales, which $35 over 2 years, $2,000 over 4 months is pretty good. So
it's like $500 a month.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
And it's always nice because Mercari, you just get a random text that you had a sale, and you're like, oh,
nice.
Okay. But we're cross listing everything to everything.
Yeah. We don't pick and choose.
Not cherry picking. I know, we've talked about this before. You think Poshmark clothes, eBay everything, Mercari maybe more hard good toys, and then Depop vintage, and that's not necessarily how it is or how it's been. So Mercari has, with a little over $500 a month average, has paid for Vendu.
Well, yeah, I mean, way more than Vendu, because Vendu's not that much.
No, but I'm just 100%. Saying, so it's worth it to throw it up there, and that's the big thing: is it worth it?
Yeah.
So eBay, Posh, whatever, but Mercari at $500 a month pays for Vendu, and Vendu I think was $600 for the year. So every month, basically pays for a year of Vendu almost.
Nice.
So, all right. Okay, Mercari.
We see you.
All right. But, Frizz, your new favorite reselling platform, Depop.
Oh, yeah, Depop I love.
We got to talk about it. Frizz.
Yeah.
Tell me about Depop, your new favorite platform.
I do love Depop. There's pros and cons to all of them, but I do like Depop.
That is one thing I will say about, this now cross-listing is you really get the pros and cons of all of these these different platforms. So Depop, another platform like Mercari that really was kind of an afterthought to us. I would put things on Depop almost like a little side project.
Yeah.
Like,
he would put his like vintage stuff he finds on Depop.
Yeah, so all the stuff that Frizz hated listing, that's what went to Depop. And then just to give you an idea, so we had our first ever Depop sale in June of 22, so 2022, all the way through December of 2023.
So a year and a half.
$1,500 in sales.
Wow.
Total.
Abysmal.
Total. But when we cross-listed, we made the decision to put everything on everything as long as it's allowed.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do sporting goods on Posh or whatever. So as long as it's allowed, we just cross-listed everything, and like Depop came to life.
Yeah.
So in 4 months, we've done almost $3,300 in sales.
That's nice.
So we have more than doubled our like year and a half
so
of
like
Depop.
$800 extra a month. So with Depop and Mercari, it's over $1,000 extra a month.
Yeah, and if you break down Vendu, it's like $50 a month.
Yeah, still worth it.
So like an extra, almost $1,000 a month or whatever is pretty awesome. But Depop, you were surprised, like things you never thought in a million years would sell on Depop, we're selling on Depop.
Yeah. Yeah, like higher end, like designer luxury brands have sold on Depop, and I like to source on Depop because you can get some great deals on Depop.
What you bought, like a Ning Bing?
Those were
on
from
Depop?
eBay.
No, remember the one had it as anime
sweater.
Bing?
Oh yeah, the sweater. Yeah.
So there's things out there. It's been a decent place to source. There's definitely cons to Depop.
Yeah.
Depop has this weird thing where someone sends you an offer, you accept it, and then they don't have to accept that you accepted it.
And then like offers on Depop, like so Poshmark using Prime Lister, we don't even have to think about sending offers. It does it automatically. And then with eBay, you send an offer and whoever watches that item or whoever views that item, it sends out to all of the people. But on Depop, it's so annoying because you have to go through every single
There's no bulk.
There's no bulk of any sort. So they need to come up with an automation for that. Somebody does. Anybody, please.
Frizz, this is just tell them. Do you think the higher ups at Depop watch our videos?
No. 100% no.
But you do really get a platform or like an idea on each platform of like things that are good and things that could be. I mean, like Mercari, like no fees, okay?
Yeah, no fees. No fees is good.
Right?
Yeah. So if I get an offer on Mercari and it's like a little lower, I just think in my head, no fees. So it's fine.
No fees.
No fees.
No fees. It does though, like you have to think a little bit like, okay, what platform was it? Because like fees are different and how everything works is just totally different, and like how you ship it and all of that. But so quick review, Depop or Vendu from a financial standpoint, which is probably most important.
Worth it, for sure. 100% worth it.
Ding.
Yeah.
So the money is good. We're happy with that. We're making money. But it's not all rainbows and sunshine and flowers.
Cons.
There's some cons.
There are a few cons.
I would say, and we talked about this a little bit before, the initial setup is kind of a lot.
Only if you already are using eBay and Poshmark or using other platforms.
This is true.
So if you're already posting on multiple platforms, it's harder.
Yeah,
to start with. But if you're only right now doing eBay or doing Poshmark only, like it'll be so much easier.
This is true.
Yeah.
If you have a established store, which is a good point, it's quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
I think it took, I mean, we weren't maybe as religious on the conversion over, but it took probably 6 weeks to really have and well, just to give you an idea, we tend to be around 1,200 listings.
Yeah.
So our store size was about 1,200, so that's what we were bringing over to Posh on Vendu, and it took probably about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's not like all day, every day.
I was going to say, if you do, like, you could do it in a few days if you actually were sitting at a computer for hours on hours at a time.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't take that long. But we just did it as, like, if we had time, when we had time. we would do it.
Because it's also kind of a good opportunity for you to like go through your stuff,
clean up your store
a little bit.
Inventory.
So we changed up some titles and descriptions. We were adding keywords, prices, all of that. So I will say, I know some of the videos that we watched initially was just like, oh, it's 3 clicks and you're on 5 platforms. It's a little bit more than 3 clicks. And like the way that each individual platform is set up can make it like Posh is 3 clicks. But Depop
is more clicks. Yeah.
And you've noticed, like, you do most of the cross listing now, and there's some that are like, okay, this is a little more time consuming. And
it's still not bad, though. No. It's really not bad.
Do you, now that you're doing this, would you rather do each 4 individually everything?
No.
So it's definitely better.
Way better. Way better. I wouldn't do all 4 individually. It just would be too much time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other con, the computer aspect. With Vendoo, because Vendoo always has to be running.
Oh, yeah.
And so sometimes things won't.
Yeah, like we were out of town, and our computer restarted, and so we had to call our son and just be like, "Hey, can you pull up the computer and can you like relog us into Vendoo?"
We were only gone for 2 days, and he's 17.
He's 17. He can stay home alone.
He's not like 5, and we're like, hey.
We're out of town,
but it is something like we went out and bought a computer. Like we always did everything on a laptop, but we went out and bought a computer to make sure that it was always running. And that, monitor, computer, all of that, was almost $500. So not that you have to you can go to Goodwill and buy a used computer, or you might even have one, but you do have to keep it up and keep it running at all times. So that could be a con, because when you pay for Vendoo, I think you can pay for the whole year up front. So if you're doing both, like all of a sudden that's like $1,000. It just can be an initial startup.
Yeah.
I would say one other con, but it's not really Vendoo's fault. It's more Poshmark's fault.
Oh, yeah.
Is the auto detection, which is why we got Vendoo.
That's Poshmark's fault.
It's Poshmark's fault, but if there's an offer out to an item on Poshmark, Poshmark won't let you take it down.
It doesn't delete because but that's just in general. You can't, which is annoying.
It is annoying.
Yeah.
So you got Depop on blast now. You got Poshmark on blast. You don't love Mercari, but you had no complaints.
eBay's bae.
But it's one other thing that you have to think of, I guess. But to Vendoo's credit, they give you like a little red alert that, hey, we didn't take this down. So
you'll be able to see when you go to your computer, like the alerts that pop up that this wasn't taken off Poshmark, this wasn't taken off Poshmark, and then you can go in and do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I will say, if you are cross-listing like we are, and you're selling things on 4 different platforms, another con is that like all the shipping is different.
Yeah.
Mercari and Depop, you can't bulk ship labels or print labels. So if you sell multiple things on, like, say you sell 3 things on Mercari, you've got to go into each individual item and print. And then if you sell
Depop, you can't either.
Same thing. Yeah. So if you sell 3, so say you sell 3 things on Mercari, 3 things on Depop, and you go to print, that's 6 separate individual clicks, which is
a little bit more time.
It's more platform fault, but it's something to consider when you're cross-listing.
If anybody knows, is it completely not possible to bulk print labels, or do we just not know how?
Ooh, I never
thought
we didn't know.
If we are user error, let us know.
Yeah, that's probably a high likelihood. But how it stands right now, you can't, and that is like individual. Yeah. And then you don't necessarily know what you've printed, because you have to then go back into each individual one. Mm-hmm. That's
small things.
But it, depending upon where you're at with your business and how much you really want to expand to this, it's something to consider, because like Poshmark, everything sends priority. eBay, you can decide whether it goes priority or ground. But then Mercari and Depop, most things are ground. Sometimes it's priority. So some of that can be like...
You just have to make sure you're shipping in the correct package.
Yeah. And so for us with 1,200 listings, it makes sense for like my mom that sells like 6 things. It wouldn't make sense for her to do it. So a little of it depends on
where you're at.
Where you're at. So those are the cons. But let's finish this on a highlight. On a high note, let's go positive and ride this bad boy off into the sunset. We went through the cons, Friz. Pros. How are you feeling about our cross-listing, George?
A pro.
We love that.
More monies.
Scrooge McDuck diving into quarters. But no, sales are up. Sales are up in general, but Mercari and Depop?
Yeah. And also, like, everyone talks about the summer slowdown, and, like, my sales are slow because of the summer slowdown, but, like, we had our best month in May last month. So...
No summertime sadness here.
No summertime sadness.
We don't have the summertime sadness. We actually, well, just to give you guys an idea, if you've never seen one of our videos before, we do predominantly clothing.
Yeah.
And
shoes, clothing, bags.
And
he has some vintage stuff.
Yeah, but still, we do very little in the hard goods stuff. And we don't notice that typical, like, drop-off, I think. Because people still wear clothes in the summer.
Yeah.
And then we'll see probably come, like, next month, July-ish, everyone will start to get back into their fall stuff. So even our seasons are a little bit bit different than maybe like the hard good toy game kind of seller, because I would assume people maybe don't buy as many like video games in the summer because they're like
outside
at museums and stuff. Do kids still play
they're
outside?
At museums. That's so random.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not going to play games because they're at a museum.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to go to a museum.
Random.
I don't play video games, but I would like to go to a museum.
What museum?
The Children's Museum.
Interesting.
Where
you're at?
Here?
Okay.
We have one, right?
We have a science museum.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Oh my goodness.
Is there an aquarium?
Oh no. Well, the Charlotte the Stingray is in somewhere in North Carolina. I don't know where though. Anyways, whatever.
I like aquariums. But so that was my point. We sell clothes, but sales are up. We love that. You know what's down?
Double selling any items, which was a really big problem.
It was a really big problem.
That's a good thing.
It really had us questioning life. I mean, just everything.
We're just like, shoot.
Anytime something sold, instead of being excited about it selling, we were like, do we
still have that?
And a lot of times we didn't.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
And so for us, making more money is obviously great, but that wasn't the reason we did it. We didn't want our eBay store shut down.
Yeah.
And this just made sense. And I think we've learned some things along the way too, like to handle if you accidentally sell something, that there's
if you accidentally do sell something on multiple platforms, cancel the other platform, not eBay. Do not cancel eBay.
Do not.
eBay hates you for life for doing that. But Poshmark is like, okay.
Poshmark, it just gives you the right nurturing.
Yeah.
Just we cancel stuff all the time, and Poshmark's like, okay. At some point, we're gonna get yelled at, but but eBay is very
eBay will put you in jail.
You do? eBay is the very strict parent.
Yeah.
What did you do? And Poshmark's like, well, mom let me off the hook. But yeah, great point. We also learned that if you do have to cancel an eBay order, you just don't have it anymore. Reach
out to the
buyer and see if they want something else.
Yeah.
We've done that with hats and just said, hey, can I send you a similar hat? And then we had a Chevy hat, which I have no idea. We must have sold it on something else. That someone bought and we didn't have anymore. So I had a different Chevy hat. So I messaged the buyer and said, hey, I'm sending you a different Chevy hat. I'm sorry. And we refunded it after we shipped it. He left positive feedback. Yeah. Didn't get the item he wanted, but left positive feedback, and eBay none the wiser.
Yeah.
So that's something I think that we've learned kind of through this as well. And then I think better listings. I know you always said that you use keywords, but I know for me, I'm always putting keywords in now in descriptions. So I think this gives you an opportunity to do better listings.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
Gorp core, cottage core,
Whimsy goth.
vintage Y2K, all of those. But I think that's part of why some of our sales are up. We're giving more info.
Yeah.
Overall, we like it.
I approve. We approve. Yes. Check mark.
If you can get Frizz to approve and like, that is a big deal. That is a big deal. She loves Vendu. Not sponsored, but it's been really good.
It's been good. Yeah,
So,
I love it.
Drop in the comments. Let us know. Are you cross-listing? Did this make you more intrigued? Feel free to ask any questions in the
Ask
comments
us, message
too.
us. If you want to send messages on IG, like reach out to us on IG, we message back.
Absolutely. We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk. But
You never know who you're going to get because you don't know if it's Johnny or me because we both.
No. Sometimes
We
you
both
think it's
answer.
her, but it's me because I say, well, my husband. But no, message us. Let us know if you have any questions. Check below Prime Lister. We have a 14-day free trial link down below. We have a link for Vendu too if you want to check it out. You got a lot of work to do. Follow, comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. And come back so you can see us on the next one. Bye, guys.
See ya.
This was a long one, and if you made it to the end, I really, really hope that this was beneficial to you. Drop in the comments and let us know what you think about cross-listing, and here's some other videos if you haven't seen them yet.